moving on here for part 2. Anybody that wants to actually send me some real questions of my own, like that I can answer, that aren't recycled from someone else, go ahead and do so. I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, just email me them over YouTube, and I'll answer anything. Ghoster88 asks, "Hey, Truthslayer." Now, obviously, I'm not Truthslayer again. Well, I stole these questions from him. But, yes, on your No Way Out 09 review, you said it was a good thing Finlay and Slagger slowed down the crowd. Do you think every match on a card should potentially be 5 stars, or is it better to have matches that aren't as good so the crowd won't burn out? That's a toughie. I didn't watch No Way Out in 09 because I can't afford to buy every pay-per-view. They're kind of expensive, like $35, you know, at least. And then I live in Canada, so I think it might be even a little more expensive here. Then there's sales tax on them, so I didn't get a chance to see that one. But I will go with the general question here, which is, do you think every match on a card should be potentially 5 stars, or is it better to have matches that aren't as good so the crowd won't burn out? I don't know, like, it depends what your show is, what you're going for. In WWE, yeah, you can't do great match after great match after great match after great match, because by the time you get to the main event, people are just going to be so burned out from seeing great matches that it's going to suck, right? Like, people are just, part of it, what goes into a great match is a hot crowd, so if the crowd's burned out, then the match isn't going to be as great, because the crowd's not going to be into it. In Ring of Honor or some of the indies, yeah, go for it. Let's see every match try and top the next one, because those fans that are going there are hardcore fans, and they want to see good matches. They're not coming to the show to see the fucking undercard bullshit going on. They're not coming in to see comedy spots and that kind of shit. They want to see good matches. So give them what they paid for, you know? The next question's from ST Striker. In both Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper's autobiography books, they both bring up the first WrestleMania. Mr. T arrived several hours late and threatened Vince McMahon if he didn't let his friends have front row seats, he would refuse to do the show. That being the case, why did McMahon bring him back the next year for the boxing match with Roddy Piper at WrestleMania 2? I don't know. I'm not McMahon. But my best guess would be because Mr. T was pretty popular back in the 80s. Mr. T was like the man. So, I mean, you're going to get quite a bit of major league publicity for your wrestling show if Mr. T is there and wrestling on it. So that would be my guess. Simply a money decision, you know. That Top Dog 13 asks, I've always liked the old King of the Ring pay-per-views, which was tournament style, and the end a new king was crowned. Now, I don't like the actual king gimmick anymore, especially thanks to Booker T. I liked Booker T as the King Booker. I thought that was good. But I do like pay-per-view. Do you think WWE would ever bring back that pay-per-view? If WWE did bring it back, don't like idea of being crowned king, but what if the winner got a title shot at SummerSlam, like the winner of Royal Rumble gets a shot at WrestleMania? They actually did that in the final King of the Ring, the one that Brock Lesnar won. That was, he won the King of the Ring. This is the final King of the Ring pay-per-view, not the final King of the Ring that they do on Raw and shit like that, but the final King of the Ring pay-per-view actually was set up like that, where the person who wins the tournament gets a shot at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar won, and then he went on to wrestle The Rock at SummerSlam. I like that idea. Only thing is, I've heard that they're not too high on the King of the Ring. And I think it kind of works better as a one-night Raw kind of deal anyway. Just because for pay-per-views, you want to have a stacked card. And a bunch of singles matches between mid-carders on your pay-per-views is not really what I would consider to be the most compelling show in the world, which is kind of what would happen on those King of the Ring pay-per-views. Usually they were good matches, because a lot of those mid-card guys are great wrestlers. But still, I don't know. I think it's better suited for a Raw. That way you can build up to and have a lot of gimmick matches, and not a lot of gimmick matches, but you can stack your pay-per-views, right? And you can't really stack a pay-per-view if you've got a King of the Ring going on at the same time. Jediers asks, hey, Truth. Hey, Truth. Of course, I stole these questions from Truthslayer, so that's why I'm saying that. Hey, Truth, I remember a year ago you kept saying that Robert Roode was not impressive and you were not into him, and I agreed. Now, after teaming with James Storm as beer money for a while, I must say that I'm much more into him, and even you seem to enjoy him more. Do you think this could lead to Roode being seen as a more legit singles star in the future, or do you really believe that he's being carried more by Storm? I don't know. I've never really been all that high on Robert Roode. I don't think he's terrible. He's decent in the ring. You know, decent to good, you know. He's better than a lot of the other guys at TNA, that's for sure. Do I see him ever being like a huge main eventer? At this point, probably not. I do like James Storm, but I honestly don't see him being a huge main eventer either. Now, they guys have been going out and having good matches, which is important, but I don't know if the personality's just there, and a lot of that comes down to script writing and stuff too, the way that wrestling shows are written these days, where some guy writes a script, the wrestler memorizes the lines, and then delivers them, right? So it's not as fluid and genuine as it used to be. So I think that is probably one of his problems too. D. Snarg asks, don't understand your view on shoot interviews. You said that you don't like them because it's hard to get the whole story. I feel that shoot interviews are much better than the newsletters internet, because we are hearing from people who were backstage. Of course you can't get the whole story. Everyone has a view. At least with shoots, the news and views come from people who are backstage involved, unlike newsletters, internet reports, and stuff like that. I like shoot interviews too. Me and Truthslayer have a different opinion on this. He obviously doesn't like them. I do. I find them very interesting and informative. Now, yeah, of course, wrestlers are kind of known as con artists and stuff, so not everything you hear is going to be 100% truth, but you know, they're entertaining to watch, and for the most part they are informative and truthful. Alrighty, so VDR 3LL asks, hey Truthslayer, do you think that if Randy Orton goes over at WrestleMania that he would be propelled to megastar status like John Cena or Steve Austin? Do you think Triple H would put him over? Obviously Triple H would not put him over at WrestleMania because Randy Orton lost. This again is an old Q&A, happened before WrestleMania, and to be honest, I thought the match sucked. It wasn't, I don't think it was as bad as a lot of people say it was. Like, it wasn't the total drizzling shits or anything, but it definitely wasn't worthy of a pay-per-view main event or a WrestleMania main event for that matter. However, Randy Orton did go over at Backlash, and I don't know. I think Randy Orton is destined to be a pretty big star. I find him a lot more entertaining than John Cena, that's for sure. I'd like to see him get a huge like top spot money run like Steve Austin or John Cena or The Rock. I'd really like to see that. I think Randy Orton's he's good enough for that sort of thing.